politics, just a reflection of some of the highs and the lows of the life and the times of the retired President Daniel Moi. I think before we took a short break and when we were at Eseli, some fun moments there.
Yeah, I would also like to join other Kenyans in sending my heartfelt condolences to the family, relatives, and close associates, and Kenyans in general, for the loss of Mzee Moi. Indeed, we should be grateful that God gave him to us for all these years. It's always good for a country to have retired presidents. They also play a role, even if they're not commenting on anything. But it's good to have them there. It's a symbol of stability of the country. And when you look at the humble beginnings of Daniel Moi, and he never rubbed it in your face about his humble beginnings, but he really came from a humble background, but he never rubbed it on anybody's face. And he was, okay, they say he had limited education, but you can see the intelligence in him. And I always argue that intelligence is what remains when you remove education from a person. And really the intelligence in Moi radiates clearly what he was. That's how he managed to rule this country. And we talk about him ruling for quarter century. We forget that he had also been a long-serving vice president for 12 years. So actually you are talking of 36 years in position of power. It's a very, very long time. And we should also realize that perhaps, given the laws that applied that time as a one-party state, perhaps if Moi had not ruled in that manner, Kenya would not be there now. So we need to appreciate him. And usually for many of us, when somebody is gone, is when we look at the good side of that person. I would hazard to say that Moi loved children. Perhaps the death of the Kakamega children was the last straw that broke the camel's back, if he heard of it, because that would have been very painful for him. He really loved children. When he took over power, I had just gone to university in 1978. And while at university with the Association of Medical Students, Medical Students Union, we went to Kabarak, a place called Camp Yamoto, to do a free medical camp for the residents there. I know that's close to Kabarak. So from there, we went for lunch at his residence in Kabarak. And it was very interesting. He mingled with all of us medical students, greeting everybody, telling us how we had found the people, and so on. I again had a chance to interact with him after I came into Parliament. By then, he had retired. And with the principal then of Friends School Kamusinga, who is now the nominee to be the Principal Secretary, Higher Education, and so on, Simon Nabukwesi, we invited Moi to come and preside over an open day at the school. But really what we were trying to do was trying to get some money from him to complete an educational center, which is called Moi Educational Center. It's still there in Friends School Kamusinga up to now. And indeed, he graced the occasion and promised us money. And we actually went to Kabarak and he gave us a substantial amount of money to complete that particular part of the school. The only thing I remember that time is when it came to lunchtime, anybody who says Moi didn't eat meat is lying. He ate meat. And he had a good appetite. Maybe he stopped at some point. He had a very good appetite, to the point that I was already full, but because he was still eating, I had to pretend and continue eating so that I don't appear disrespectful to have finished eating before him. But I think he had a very good knowledge of what to do with the education system, to the point that he's the one who expanded university education in this country. Actually started expanding during his time. I think people need to recognize that. And while he might not have been very strong on the economy, but he was very good on stability, to stabilize the country, despite, of course, entrenching the issue of politics of patronage with carrot and stick. But I guess under the circumstances, perhaps that's the best way he could have done it. While many might not have liked his policies, but I think looking back, under the circumstances, perhaps that was the best way he would have run the country, given the circumstances then. I think there's a young man in Kitale, Trans Nzoia, who likes imitating Moi. during public functions. And that's how he makes his living. When there's a public function, he comes there with the signature rungu, with a rose, a suit, and so on. And he imitates retired presidents so well. And he makes his money that way. People like my party leader, Moses Wetangula, I'm sure they give their entry into politics was because of Moi. Moi is the one who nominated him to parliament. And that time, Moi controlled nominations. He knew who he was nominating.
Thank you.
As they say, he knows everybody by name. I think he's a wonderful old man, and I think for Kenya, we would we wish him what I would call eternal rest and peaceful rest, and we'll always remember him.
Right, thank you. Maybe just to bring to memory as well, we have this very interesting picture, and this will remind you how passionate also the late Daniel Moi was about the environment, momonyoko wa udongo, and you can see there with the retinue of ministers then him pointing to a wetland there. We can just remember how he really insisted that it is important to preserve the environment, avoid soil erosion because of actually, deforestation and all. Maybe I can see you string at the leash, Jacomi Dio. We can point at some of our...
I only recognize Gigi Karaoke.
Gigi Karaoke there.
I'm trying to figure out the lady.
This is also the total man?
It's a man, actually. That's the what, isn't it?
Yeah, a total man. A total man. I'm saying it's a total man.
It's total, eh?
Yeah, the total man.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And
living our part.
Yeah, it's just behind you. On floor 5, you can look over there. I think it's clearer.
Yes, it's total man.
Wow. Yeah, that's total man. You're seeing it.
And the other one, I think, is Ndicho. Isn't it? The other
Yes,
one,
yes.
The other side.
Oh, Ndicho. Right, but still on the comment of preserving the environment, this is how he was a man really on the ground, concerned about really what is happening, with our country environmentally. That message has it.
There was a very good photo of Moi during this Momonyoko Udongo campaign when he was carrying a big rope.
Yes. I'm trying to dig into my we should get it.
That was the major photograph of him,
I remember.
signifying that campaign.
Yes, I'll try and retrieve it.
Let me speak.
Jacoy had finished before you come to
It was me.
It was you.
Yeah,
No, it was
me.
I'm the one who started. I'm the one who started. So
okay.
I thought we started with Eseli today, so after Eseli it's me and then it goes
just
up.
a moment. Jacob, let our channel continue. We'll continue.
No, it's true.
You want to mourn again?
No, it's true actually.
Okay.
Just, first of all, I think it's important to observe that the death of Moi represented the last doyen of frontline independence struggle, in my view. Frontline independence struggle. And so it should also be a reminder to those who never interacted with him that other than the struggles we have now, there was a major struggle in the past. But there are a few personal attributes of Moi that we should also bring to the fore. One is his fitness. I have never seen a fitter president, and many of us here try to be fit. Fortunately, Secondly,
Omatangi is fit.
We are all fit. That's because I can tell you we run with Omatangi, and Jacoy, we play football with Aaron, and I know Dr. Eseli is also very fit. He goes to the gym and runs. Secondly, were his Christian values. But those Christian values, some people, it was to the point that you could fault them sometimes. In 1999, and I interacted with Moi at various stages, but I remember in 1999, he appointed me as the secretary of a task force to conceive what the country should do about the HIV and AIDS issue. And at that time, because of his Christian values, he was so mad, he came back to the airport, declared AIDS a national disaster, and then said anybody who transmits the virus should be castrated and jailed for life. Now, my team, which was chaired by my partner, Rachir, and others, went through that task, and we had the difficult task of going to State House and giving a report together with a draft law and telling him, unfortunately, we can't do what you had asked. And he sat there and looked at us, but eventually that passed. The third attribute was punctuality, and I think it's a lesson to most leaders. People have this excuse that in politics people are never punctual, that you keep people for hours on end. That is just hogwash. Moi was ever to be punctual. And I think it's unfair to people to keep them for long. The fourth attribute is what I would say is what he did for this country. In Moi's time, Kenya's dominance in the region was unquestioned. And that is the time when our role was to bring peace to other places. Kenya was described as the island of peace. Quite honestly, I think we have in time lost this centrality, and that is something to be mourned. Now, it is not to say that Moi did not have his faults. First of all, starting with the human rights, I mean, there were certainly issues of human rights and excesses. But even then, you had restraint. You've just seen when he was castigating the nation, he did not close the nation. He did not send people to come and bludgeon people here. He expressed his view, his disquiet against the nation, but let the nation continue. Secondly, was what Senator Wamatangi was describing as his generosity. In truth, I don't think Wamatangi was talking about food and cake in State House, because those ones you can get. I think Wamatangi was talking about that era, where anybody who wanted to be a politician had to go to State House and you'd carry a briefcase, because it was reputed that you'd go there and it was up to you how much you could carry to come out with. And it is clear.
Is that what you did when you went to report on
When you went to report?
No, no, I was not a politician. Then I didn't go as a politician. I was not even running for any office, so I didn't even come up with a cent. I think that was a closet for politicians. Then there was some for technocrats. I think that was the seeds of monetarized politics that some people have now learned so much and still invite people and give them money. Thirdly is about the environment. I think Moi was passionate about the environment, especially soil erosion. The slight contradiction is that there are people in his government who may not have been as passionate. And that is why chunks of forest land were also excised during his time. But what's important, Dibang,
and I got the picture as well. You can see
yes,
that is a picture of Matanga was talking about.
That is the picture. And I remember that picture, it was always played. And it's a good representation of a down-to-earth leader who does not just direct policy, but participates in the implementation of that policy, because it gives a very positive example. But what I would say is, Moi must be judged in the context of his time. And if you judge him in the context of his time, then you will not judge him too harshly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Jacob, do you return? Okay. Yeah. Then we come to Ero Cherot.
Deba, Utinda has said it all. You know, we need elders. And the older leaders get, the wiser they get. And I think Kenya needed Moi. And I would have hoped, I think another time I saw Moi's father died at 115. I was really hoping Moi would have lived long enough to guide this nation to greater heights. Because I think all these leaders who are subsisting they listen to Moi. I've seen Raila go there, I've seen Musalia go there, I've seen Uhuru go there. And it would have been much better. Wamatangi, to redirect you, I don't go to State House.
You stopped?
No, I don't, because now I'm retired. Yeah, I used to go there to play politics, and I've never been given money like you were given. The other thing, if anybody has ever given me money, they can say. But the other big thing is that I didn't know you started these issues of corruption so early.
Oh, myself.
That, you know, how can you buy a president
bribing
a
a president?
How can you bribe a president with a car? No, who told you Moi needed a car? This guy is, but he doesn't call everything. You must get it out of their mind. Because
I believe I'm next after this, so I can explain.
no, but what imagination would you
have
get to take a car to somebody who has been president for like 60 years? I mean, he was 36 years controlling politics. Then he's been there for us. He was even there when he was a teacher. He was already a politician. So how do you imagine just giving Daniel Rich a car. What kind of car was it, by the way?
Are you donating a few minutes?
But at least we thank you for giving Baba, our Baba Mzee Moi.
Jacoyo, what I said, just to clarify, was immediately then I had just been elected the vice chairman of Kenya Auto Bazaar Association. And Kenya Auto Bazaar Association, their work is a conglomeration of all importers of motor vehicles. And so under our control are hundreds of vehicles. And you know, in our African tradition, if you're a farmer of maize, you go to see a friend, you carry maize cobs. Oh, yeah. Yes, because that's you carry maize because this is what you have. If you farm bananas, you go with the banana. Now for us, because we were dealing with vehicles, we said, Your Excellency, this vehicle you can donate to any institution of your choice. In fact, we gave him a van, a small van that he could not donate maybe to a primary school, a nursery school. So it was not a personal vehicle. It's just to.
No, but
so it was.
I was only engaging you on what you had said. Now that you feel you can lie about it. you went to bribe the president with a vehicle. And I am sure the day you were there, you were given money. I am very sure because of
you want me to take a few more minutes of your time? Because
that's the way the state used to work. And we are judging more in a hash.
I'll be happy to explain.
We are judging in the context of his time. And we didn't know that about you. I'm sorry.
About what?
Sorry, you were corrupt before you were born.
By the way, Jacoyo, what you need to realize is that the value of a car those days.
Jacoyo, you're donating too much
the value of a car that time, my friend, those years, it was high. A car was a precious thing in Kenya. So there is nothing you would go to be given there in State House that is equal to the value of the car. Actually, it was not a donation of myself. It was the entire
how much money
of the whatever.
How much money did you walk away with?
Indeed, by then, we were never given any money. But
let's say
but it was my chance also to speak.
It was Aaron.
Aaron has not spoken.
He's not spoken.
Yes, I don't mistake the time he donated to be my time. Okay. But if it's Aaron then can take it and then I can.
Matangi and Jacoyo can have their car discussions outside. But actually, Dibal, the reason why Moi is big to us as a country is that Kenya is 56 years. 36 of those, he's been at the heart of the presidency.
Exactly.
Just at the heart of it, either as vice president for 12 and president for 24. That is a man whose influence to what we've become as a nation cannot be gainsaid. There are three things, Dibal, that I want to really hail or celebrate President Moi for. Number one, Dibal, was the discussion that you were having earlier about his public interactions and how he used to push his public policy. This idea, and I think it later on, everybody has their style of leadership, but Kibaki's was different, and I have seen even the same for President Uhuru, same for the last, I think, a month or two, where President prefers to give directions and let his ministers or different people carry out their assignments. And I think even his latest confessions in Nyandarua, that he was shocked to realize that some of the reports he was getting were not accurate, goes to the heart of the public interaction with citizens that Moi used to enjoy. He's not a man who used to sit in State House. He was always on the road. And I think as a leader, there's nothing more important than that. Otherwise, if you sit in a well air-conditioned office, just issue directives, it is so easy to be out of touch with reality as a leader. And therefore, that is something we hail Moi about and continue to celebrate him and all the leaders that have taken on that kind of practice. It's something that even our cabinet ministers, especially these ones that are not practicing politicians in this administration, ought to do so many times, that you continue, go and interact with people. If you're minister for sports, we need to see you at sports facilities. If you're minister for devolution, interact, with devolved unit. The second thing, Dibal, was his contribution to sports as a discipline generally. Those were the years that Kenya used to do better in sports than what is happening right now. Successive administrations, That is that of President Kibaki. And now
just to interrupt you a bit, you see this particular picture, it really cognates with what you're saying.
Yeah.
How he was really down to earth, interacting with the people. And I think you can remember, was it Kai Kai, the singer? You remember those songs for them that have done a bit of music history?
Yeah.
Mama le 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 le, unafanya kazi na na na.
I know.
Aaron wouldn't know, so.
Aaron was